Me, I view myself as all the guys you talk about, all the guys that is promoted, whether the media promotes it or not. That's how I see myself. I don't care what is written about me, what the fans think, good game, bad game. I see myself as one of the top guys in this league. And you got to have that mentality and that approach when you're going up against the greats. And I find myself right up there. You know, I have their respect. You know, talking to them, everybody appreciates my growth and how I commit myself to the game. But yeah, I don't see myself as any less than any of the other top guys in this league.
He has spoken. First, he spoke with his game, and then that's Norman Powell, Miami Heat guard, also letting you know in the locker room afterwards. The Heat beat the Clippers 120-119. Second game of a back-to-back after losing to the Lakers, snapping a 2-game skid. Most importantly, Norman Powell back in the lineup, and right along with it, that tough, tenacious Miami Heat defense down the stretch. We're going to get to all of that. This is All You Can Heat, presented by Robinhood with your boy Theo Dorsey with ESPN West Palm. Always remember, you expect more from yourself, so expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. And the Miami Heat were money last night in a big-time game out on the West Coast. The West Coast trip not over with. They still got another one Wednesday night against the Denver Nuggets. But how can you not be excited, elated, happy to not only see Norm Powell come back, 21 points, tribute video, because I do think he deserved that from the Clippers because of what he was able to be. I know some people like to make fun of stuff like that, but Norman Powell is an all-around likable guy and the kind of dude who you want in your lineup, and that's what the Heat got tonight. And then let's go back to it, right? Like, he gets the intro video. He also gets picked on down the stretch. Kawhi Leonard calling for the switch to get Norm on him multiple times in the fourth quarter. Sometimes it worked out. Other times it didn't, including on the final possession of the game. Kawhi rising up from three to win it. Norman in his face. It clinks off the rim, and elation ensues as the Heat get a well-needed win and a well-deserved win considering how they did all around. This is going to be a quick episode of All You Can Heat. We're going to get you just a quick recap of the game, some of the top performers in LA that helped restore the Heat to the winning column, and then also a bit of an update on my Bam Adebayo push for Defensive Player of the Year. There's two monstrosities in the NBA right now. Number one, Erik Spoelstra has yet to win a Coach of the Year. I think this could honestly be the year. Like, unless Thiago Splitter keeps that thing rolling with the Portland Trailblazers, how can you not eye a guy like Erik Spoelstra with a shorthanded roster because one of our players was arrested by the FBI and that cap still counts against the Miami Heat's ability to make any kind of moves? Like, that's a lot. $26 million for Terry Rozier to not be anywhere near the team. But then also you have a squad in the East who a lot of people did not believe in, who I do think will finish in the top four of the Eastern Conference. I keep on fiddling back and forth, top five, top four, top three. A lot of it depends on what the heck VJ Edgecombe and the Philadelphia 76ers end up being at their best, which I don't think we've seen yet. Makes me a little nervous. He kind of reminds me of a little D-Wade 2.0. Don't want to get into that right now, though. Let's get back to the good stuff. The Heat get the win, and the Heat are feeling themselves and feeling good, as you heard from Norman Powell. The third quarter was the key quarter here. Pele Larson was huge. The defensive tenacity all around was huge for Miami. When you go and look at the box score, what stands out, the Heat outscored the Clippers by 13 points in the third quarter, back-to-back games in which the third quarter was a shiner for the Miami Heat. But more importantly, they forced a lot of turnovers, 10 in the third quarter alone, which they scored 17 points off of. They were hounding James Harden, who ended the game with 29 points, yes, but 8 assists to 7 turnovers. James Harden, that's the kind of game you can force him into, and we've seen that time and time again, usually in the playoffs, but often in the regular season as well. The Heat know how to get under the skin of other top players in this league, and speaking of top players in this league, never forget how Norman Powell also plays into that as well. In his return from the groin injury, Norm Powell, he gets 28 minutes, 21 points, 6 for 10 from the field. He did turn it over 5 times, but it was 7 for 7 from the free throw line. And one of those turnovers that would count against him late in the game, the Heat had it sealed up. They inbounded to Norm Powell, and Ivanka Zubac literally mauls Norm. Like, it was actually like aggressive. It was almost like, at the family reunion when one of your uncles is playing a little too tough because he's angry because you and your other nephews is out athleticism him and they got a better jump shot now. So the only way he can get a win is by raking you over the arm and barreling over you. But like, it was a clear foul in front of the referee. He went over Powell's back. He grabbed across Norman Powell's arm, and they called jump ball. So that one was egregious. It was at that point, plus a little earlier in the fourth quarter, about 3 minutes left, when Kawhi Leonard hit a shot from the right corner, short corner, that looked reminiscent of his big shot for the Raptors over the Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals that sent them to the NBA Finals. When he hit that, and when I heard that call, out of into a dome in favor of the Clippers, I started feeling like it was inevitable the Heat would lose this one, but they didn't. They improved to 4-3. Norm Powell gets his happy ending in LA, the nice revenge game to cap off a road trip that started off a little rough. And then, more importantly, you had a couple other guys that shined for the Miami Heat. Big shout to Davion Mitchell. He led the Heat in minutes, and rightfully so. 34 minutes, was in the starting lineup clearly. 8 points, 9 assists, and played 34 minutes and had 0 turnovers. That's the exact kind of Davion Mitchell that you need to win games like this when you have tough matchups on the other side where he has to stay in front of James Harden. He was able to guard Harden without getting into foul trouble. He forced, 3? He got 3 steals, actually. So he and Pele Larson both with 3 steals on the day. They were both huge for the Heat down the stretch, just creating more possessions. He also had 5 rebounds. So again, Davion Mitchell, soon as the Heat got him, as soon as you saw him on the court, you can tell he was the kind of guy that he belonged in a Heat jersey. And that's kind of what this whole roster is made up of this year, right? No superstars that people, that just jump off the page, but Pele Larson, Simone Fontecchio, like Jaime Jaquez Jr., clearly, Nikola Jovic, Kel'el Ware, who deserves some a bit of a bump here. Of course, Norm Powell, A. Wiggins. Like, these are the kind of guys that Spo can thrive with, and that's exactly what the Miami Heat are doing. Last night against the Lakers, or last time out, only one player hit multiple three-pointers. It was an off shooting night, and that was the worst thing that hit them. This night, Kel'el Ware's 2 for 2. Simone Fontecchio, 2 for 4. You got 2 for 3 from Norm Powell, 2 for 4 for Bam Adebayo. I love every time we get multiple three-pointers made from Bam in a game. We still have to give that the full appreciation it deserves. Bam, 2 for 4 from deep. And then Andrew Wiggins, 3 for 5 from deep. He had a couple of big ones late. And he's been, as much as I've been crying for a closer, right? Tyler Hero's out. Norman Powell has done his due diligence when he's in. The Heat are actually now 3-1 in games that Norm Powell has played. A. Wiggins has been great down the stretch, and he's been consistent for the Heat outside of like one game or so. Through 6 games, he's been or 7 games, he's been very accountable for the Heat on the offensive end. He had a big-time three-pointer when Kawhi Leonard tried to switch off of him and ended up falling down and leaving him wide open. So the Heat were just great. Overall, the best plus-minus guy of the night, Pele Larson, plus 11. And if you were watching, it kind of showed. It felt that way. He was extremely – his presence was felt at all times on both sides, really. So, again, when you're getting rim pressure from Davion Mitchell, when you're getting ball pressure from him as well, you can play it full court a few times and just – wreak a little havoc against the Clippers. You just got to feel good all around about what the Heat can be. And speaking of, the straw that stirs the drink, the man who is literally, he's in close proximity with, and when you speak about his girlfriend, a multiple-time MVP and a WNBA Finals champion, multi-champion actually, and Defensive Player of the Year, Bam Adebayo. Not enough words to express how good he is and how much he means to this Miami Heat team, especially now that his game has actually evolved and he's a consistent three-point shooter, at least through the first 7 games of this season. Bam Adebayo, 25 points, led the team in scoring, 10 boards, 4 assists. He was 10 for 18 from the field, and he had a couple of plays down the stretch that were absolutely pivotal for the Heat to win this game. You don't win it without Bam, which is, clearly, right? But The James Harden had just hit a 30-foot three-pointer from the deep, like way beyond the arc. It was one of those kind of pull up as somebody goes under the screen type deal, and he drills it. That tied the game up late on the road. Next trip down, Bam gets the ball right where he likes it, right around the elbow free throw line, turnaround jumper, nails it. The Heat take a 2-point lead. Following trip, James Harden, who just hit that big shot, he gets Bam switched out on him on an island on the left arc. And this is where year after year, playoff after playoff, game after game, in his seemingly 15-year career now, James Harden likes to cook, especially when he gets a big on him. You see him kind of break it down, start throwing it between his legs, left and right, eyeing down the big. Like, he tried the whole setup on Bam Adebayo. Bam went for none of it. Bam glued to him, so much so that it created a turnover. Harden couldn't even get the step back three-pointer off. So you're up to Bam clamps James Harden on the island. You get the turnover, ensuing possession. The Heat push the ball down the court as they've been doing all year. Still, I believe, number one in pace of play for the offense. And then Bam gets the ball on the left nail, makes the move on Zubac, gets right by him, misses the layup, but gets the foul and knocks in both free throws. That sequence there, that 3-play sequence from Bam hitting the jumper, stopping Harden, blowing by Zubac, that is the sequence that wins the game, and then Norman Powell's defense on Kawhi Leonard at the end seals it. So that's just complimentary basketball. You hear it on football time, like, play complimentary football. The Bengals are ripping each other apart in the locker room trying to play quote-unquote complimentary football. It's complimentary basketball from the Miami Heat. The defense returned. That was my number one concern when you let 130 points to the Lakers, and down the stretch, you could not stop a nosebleed. The D was back. The offense was roaring, as it's been all year, and Norman Powell being back in the lineup, it set everything right in the right direction. Before we get out of here, for all you can Heat, I got to give a big shout to Kel'el Ware, who we called out yesterday. It's a little rough game against the Lakers, pulled early, spotlight on him. How does he respond? Very next day, 16 points in 18 minutes off the bench, 5 boards, and again, 2 for 2 from deep. Kel'el Ware is going to be one of the more volatile players for the Miami Heat in and out of the lineup this year. It's because he's a sophomore season guy. It's because he's still a little bit raw as a prospect, but he is so good. And the more I look at it, as he's a real full-out 7-footer who can protect the rim, still move his feet, and moves very well, getting up and down in transition. And, of course, he has an excellent shooting touch. Like, this dude really I understand why Spo and the staff are so hard on him. He really has a chance to be something absolutely special. And the range of outcomes as to what Kel'el Ware can actually be, or is he going to be one of those guys that doesn't live up to potential? It's a serious question. And I think he's with the right team, the right coaching staff, and surrounded by the right guys in that locker room to get the most out of him. But I'm almost like hesitant to say what I feel like that could be. He can handle the ball pretty decently for a guy's size. He moves his feet extremely well. When he's locked in on defense and when he knows the assignment, like, there's really no issues. The guy is an absolute stud. And I'm just happy that he had a good bounce back night from the field and on defense as well. So big shout out to Kel'el Ware, and shout out to the Miami Heat, back in the fold, back in the winning column. We'll see if they can continue the job on Wednesday night at the Denver Nuggets, and then they return home for some group play for the NBA in-season tournament. So all good things flying out of the Miami Heat right now. Winning record, Bam Adebayo. He gets one more data point in favor of him for Defensive Player of the Year, even though that might turn into the Wemby Invitational, which is unfair, but it is what it is. And to close things up here, that is all you can Heat with Theo Dorsey, presented by Robinhood. We'll catch you next time after the Heat. We'll see. I can't wait to see how they actually defend Nikola Jokic this year with this newfound front court lineup. So we'll see how Spo throws that rotation at Jokic and the Nuggets. That'll be an interesting matchup. And again, just off of a Heat loss, another NBA Finals rematch that the Miami Heat get to embark on the road here. So fun things coming. It's all you can Heat. It's presented by Robinhood with Theo Dorsey on ESPN West Palm. Catch you next time.